Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and tonight I will be continuing the Black Excellence Month of reviews. For those of you who don't know, it's your first time tuning in. First of all, welcome. And second of all, during the month of February, it is Black History Month. And so I figured the best way to do that, to celebrate on the channel, is to talk about films that star Black people, directed by Black people, just have that real impact in our culture rather. And I've been doing it this year. I've done a few on Instagram. That's actually where I started the month out, on Instagram. Make sure you check out those reviews. I talked about Sonic Prime. Go check out that review to see why. And I've talked about this show Killing It that is now on Peacock. And just the other night, I talked about You People, the Netflix film, which is very divisive, I see, but I gave my opinions and thoughts on that. Go check that out if you want to see what my thoughts on that movie were. And tonight I'm going to be talking about the film I was about to say You People again. Goodness gracious. I'm going to be talking about the film called On the Count of Three. This film, it is a dark comedy drama. It is just, it's good. I'm not gonna lie, it's damn good. It is directed and produced by Gerard Carmichael, who is a comedian that many of you may know. He hosted one of the award shows this year, and he had that comedy special where he came out as openly came out as a gay man, but he also had a show called The Carmichael Show as well. He had a show on, I think it was NBC as well. But yeah, funny dude though, nonetheless. He's a funny guy. I do enjoy his works and his appearances and things that I see him in. I do enjoy those. Before I get into it any further though, I want to remind you guys, go ahead and hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this review. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're still trying to hit our 100 subscriber goal. We got a lot of good stuff planned for that. Follow us on Twitch. I got the podcast that I do on Twitch /BrickWall. So that'll be up on Thursdays. So make sure you tune in. That Thursday, as of this recording, Thursday is tomorrow night. So make sure you guys tune into that. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Boom. So getting back into this review. So like I said, this movie is called On the Count of Three, and it's about two friends who decide to spend their last day together. Why is it their last day? Because they both want to commit suicide. And when I say that in this movie, okay, so I'm gonna start off with this disclaimer right here, right? If you are someone you know is very sensitive to the topic of suicide, suicidal attempts, anything in that realm, depression, childhood trauma, things like that. If you are anyone you know is very sensitive to those types of things, this movie is not for you, because this movie doesn't play it lightly. It doesn't really treat it as a joke, which I can appreciate. I mean, it's a little bit of a punchline, but it's a dark punchline at the same time. But it doesn't, it doesn't play it up for laughs. Like, the first thing you see in this movie is these two gentlemen pointing guns at each other's face, as you see in the thumbnail. That is the first image of the movie. And they're like, okay, on three. 1, 2, then the screen cuts to black, you hear a gunshot go off. And then of course it goes, and it pretty much goes to earlier that day. You have the and I promise I'm not gonna spoil too much for y'all, but you have the one friend named Kevin, played by Christopher Abbott, and Val, played by Gerard Carmichael. They're the two friends in this movie, of course. And so you see that Val is going through something, but they're not really clear on it at this point. And then you see that Kevin is actually in a mental institution because 3 days prior to the events of this film, he tried to kill himself. And so he's in the hospital and he's explaining. It's a point where he's like, he's talking to the psychiatrist in there, and he's telling her just like how hard it is for him to just go through life and stuff like that. It's a very like out the gate, it's a very compelling scene. And like I said, if you're not sensitive to these topics, I do encourage you to go and check this movie out. It's like it's a good movie. Like overall, it's a good movie. But so yeah, you kind of get to learn a lot about Kevin in this movie. And then when Val comes in, he breaks him out of the mental hospital, which again, that's something you have to see for yourself. But gets him out of there, and then he's like, "All right, so listen, were you?" He's pretty much asking like, "Yo, were you serious about that? Were you serious about your suicide attempt?" Blah blah blah. And then that's when he pretty much comes up with the proposition and say, "Yo, we're both gonna kill ourselves. Like, I'm down, I'm with it. I got 2 guns, we shoot each other, blah blah blah." So of course, the scene that you see at the beginning of the movie, that's glossed through. You see what actually happens in that moment. But these 2 gentlemen decide to live. Well, Kevin suggests that they live their last day on Earth. Since it's going to be their last day, he suggests that they go out and just, live it up, do whatever they want to do, blah, 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 blah. And you would think with that concept that they would be like, "Oh, let's go to strip club, go wild party, drugs and sex and alcohol and all this crazy stuff." Like, you think it would turn into like a hangover type of situation. It doesn't. This movie, and this is one thing I can say I really loved about this movie, is that it did not drop the suicide thing, right? It didn't drop the depression thing. It didn't drop the draw. Well, not the draw, but it didn't drop what it was about. I guess, for lack of a better term for me, it didn't drop that premise. Instead, it said, "Nah, this is still a very real thing, and these guys aren't going out to party or have fun or do this and that. No, they're going out and they're fulfilling a very dark, very dark bucket list. Like, one of the characters, I'm not gonna say which one, pretty much wants to kill someone for things that happened to him in his past. The other one, the other character, he wants to what is oh man, he has a relative that took something from him and he's going to get it back. um you know they they end up like not really robbing the convenience store, but just going kind of like, a little extreme to get some service in the convenience store. Yeah, it's really interesting. And then you find out with one of the characters, you find out what's actually been going on, and then you're like, yo, because you kind of get the vibe the whole time that, well, it's Val. Okay, I'll put it out there just to keep you interested. Val, played by Gerard Carmichael, you see that his character is going through something through the whole movie, but you kind of like, well, what is going on? Like, why is he getting these calls? Why is he ignoring this call here? Or what was that voicemail all about? Right? Because it's a part where he gets a voicemail, he checks the voicemail, you hear it. For me, the audio wasn't so clear on that, but I don't know. Maybe some people got better hearing than I do. Maybe I had the TV down too low. I don't know. But yeah, and you start to find out, and then when you get that reveal of what happens or what's going on in his life that allegedly led him to want to commit, you like, for me, I was like, dog, you a bitch. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. And they kind of like hint at it a little tiny bit, that whatever he's going through may not be worth trying to kill yourself over. Because it's really interesting, like this movie with the characters, like with Kevin, who was the one who tried to commit suicide 3 days ago. Like, it kind of plays back and forth. Like, it does this thing where it's like, okay, at first Kevin, you start to think, okay, Kevin's gonna kind of change his mind, gonna come to the light, gonna try to push Val out of that mindset to want to kill himself, and find new life within himself. And then with Val, you're like, okay, Val gonna change his mind, though. He's not really gonna feel this. He gonna always be there for Kevin, because you see the type of friendship they got. Like, yo, but listen, like, it play with it, but it like the darkness of these characters, it's like, yeah, nah, I don't see how, like, are y'all gonna, like, there's an upside to this though, right? Like, y'all not just gonna kill yourselves by the end of the movie, right? And um yeah, nah, it's just like the way it goes. It's just like, wow. And then like the ending, I gasped. I audibly gasped at the end. Um because one of the characters, I was like, wow. And one of the characters does end up self-deleting, but I'm not going to tell you how. but the situation that got them there, and then with one of the characters having a revelation about something, it was like, oh damn, like I don't know, you're gonna probably have to bite the bullet on this one, buddy. Like it was very, very interesting. Yeah, nah, I really like this movie. Like I said, though, I will emphasize once again that if you are sensitive to topics uh regarding self-deletion, suicide, um, childhood trauma, bullying, um, because there's a scene early on in the movie, matter of fact, where and I'll straight up say it, and if after I say this the description of this scene, if you feel like this ain't something you want to watch, I completely understand. Because like I said, this does not play happy-go-lucky, softy soft with the subject matter. It like it kind of it goes there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it's there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't fucking around. Like they don't turn this into a Seth Rogen-esque comedy where they're like, oh, let's booze it up, let's go in there, let's fuck this girl over here and this and that. Like it's our last day on earth. Let's go crazy. Like, yeah, they go crazy, all right, but they do it in the darkest way possible. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. Like not like that, but like I'm gonna go kill this guy. Like I'm gonna kill him. You know what I'm saying? That like because if I kill him, it's my last day on earth anyway. So I kill him, we gonna go kill ourselves later, and that's it. We good. So that's how they utilize this concept. But yeah, dang, I forgot what I was getting on to as well. Oh, so it's seen early in the movie, right? Very early on in the movie. You see Gerard Carmichael's character, Val. He's at his job, which he clearly does not like his job. He goes into the bathroom, goes to the bathroom stall, takes his belt off, and attempts to. I'm not going to detail the whole thing. I don't want to give anybody no ideas out here. I kind of probably stepped a little too far into the territory, but he attempts to strangle himself. And it's like, oh, and it's like, again, if you're sensitive to these topics, I do not suggest that you watch it, or at least don't watch it alone. Watch it with a trusted friend, ally, whatever the case may be, just so they can be there to have you, comfort you, or whatever the case may be, if you're sensitive to these topics, that is. But yeah, nah, like they show it, like and it's crazy, like they show him passing out, just feet shaking and wiggling, like they show the whole. I was like, oh shit. I'm sitting there like, yo. And this is, mind you, this is like 10 minutes into the movie. 8 to 10 minutes into the movie, you're seeing somebody legitimately attempt to delete themselves. I was like, wow. Like, but again, this is Gerard Carmichael's directorial debut. And I'm not from a directorial standpoint, he did this shit. Like he did, like his directing styles, the shots that he got, the way he allowed the tension to sit with these characters and the ways that it was wow. I was very invested. I was very invested in the characters. I was very invested in what was being done. I truly did enjoy this film. I don't really have any negatives to say about it. Because it's like, for me, it hit the mark on a lot of things. And even with the moral ambiguity of the main characters, like not knowing what they're gonna end up doing by the end of the movie, if they're gonna go through with the suicide, with the self-deletion. I gotta stop saying before I get the mouth. But you know what I'm saying, before they decide to go through with that act or anything like that. You just don't know. And even up until that one moment at the end, where you're like, oh, I don't know how they're going to I don't know how they're going to get out of this. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's just like, it's so crazy. But then like when it's very interesting though. I did enjoy this film. In addition to Gerard Carmichael and Christopher Abbott, this film also stars Lavelle Crawford, Henry Winkler, Tiffany Haddish, my boy JB Smoove, who gives a really good performance in this too. I ain't gonna hold you, man. Everybody in this movie gives a really good performance. And Jared Abrahamson, just to name a few of the people. This movie was released in 2021, January of 2021 at Sundance, and May 13th of last year on Hulu. I watched it on Hulu. That's where I watched it at. I was aware of this movie for some time, but I just never really got to watch it. And I figured this would be a perfect time to watch it because, like I said, this is his directorial debut. Gerard Carmichael. Yeah, and he produces it well. He produced it as well, and of course stars in it. So and it's just something different, you know. Oftentimes, you know, like I say, even with some of the stuff I've reviewed over on Netflix, sometimes we get like this idea, like, okay, he's black, and you know, African Americans. We have films that all we have to do is hood things or struggle things or some type of weird stuff. I don't know what the perception is, but it's always films like this that's just like, wow, this is so outside the box. And it's so interesting that, you know what I'm saying, not only are we being allowed to be in movies like this, but being allowed to headline them, and then not only headline them, but direct them. You know what I mean? Like direct, like that's such a big step for Gerard Carmichael. Shout out to him. I really did enjoy this film, and apparently so did critics, because this got an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. Me personally, I give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Like I really did enjoy it. It was nice. The moral ambiguity, or the suspense rather, of the plot in the story kind of had me on edge a few times. The only reason I'm not going to give it a 4.5 is because, again, I do understand that these are sensitive topics for people, and there were some parts that were kind of a little rough. But like I said, nothing is played as a gimmick though, which is why I still give it that 4 or 5, but that's a healthy 4 or 5, you know. I just don't give it, you know. It's definitely a 4 or 5 though. I did like it. I did thoroughly enjoy it. It's just, for me, it's just hard for me to recommend this to people, especially, you know, knowing that people go through so much with their mental health, especially since COVID. Oh God, man, it's been horrible out here for the in these streets for our mental health. So definitely, black men, take care of your mental health. Black people, take care of your mental health. People, take care of your mental health, and just, you know, just understand and just remember that, you know, deleting yourself, you know, let's you know, hang in there. Just hang in there, please, 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 just hang in there. But yeah, this movie is, I do enjoy this movie. I can't say it enough. If you're sensitive to any of the topics or anything that I've said about this movie made you feel a little uneasy, I wouldn't recommend watching this, especially not alone. Watch it with someone who's able to just sit there and just, you know when it's time for you to turn it off. You know what I mean? Or, you know, be there to be like, hey man, you feeling all right? You good? Just ain't too much on you, is it? Or just pause it and just look at you and say, hey, you want to talk about anything? Things like that. Because this, like, again, this is a heavy-handed film. They do not play it up for laughs. It's heavy-handed, but it's heavy-handed in the right ways. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes heavy-handed is like so preachy. No, this isn't preachy. This is good. So that's all I got to say about this film, though. Make sure you check it out. It's on Hulu right now. It's called On the Count of Three. It's rated R. Obviously, it's rated R, right? But you know, would I recommend watching this with your kids, with your you know, with anyone under the age of 12? I would say don't watch with anyone under the age of 13. I say 13 and up, you'd be good to sit and watch it with them, because it can open up, especially among black households and everything, or, you know, just households with adolescents. It can open up a venue for conversation, and maybe you can all learn something about each other, and, you know, have those conversations about depression, mental health, suicide, things like that, and just really talk about it as a family. And, you know, you never know what you can learn about somebody, you know. So this can open up conversation, good healthy conversation. So, but that's it. I've rambled on enough. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this review. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit us on Twitch tomorrow night for our podcast, Last Brick Wall. You don't want to miss it because it's all fun, it's all great, and you'll have a great time. But until then, follow us on all social media. BrickWall Anime will be back next week or sometime in the future. But until then, stay easy, be easy, stay breezy. Peace.